Hi everyone, I'm Chris.
And I'm Corey. Join us on our foul-mouthed adventure through the 80s as we answer the questions you didn't know you had, point out the things you missed, and recap the behind-the-scenes stories that likely never happened.
You're listening to
That's Basically the 80s.
Honey, this isn't real. You know what it is? It's St. Elmo's fire. Electric flashes of light that appear in dark skies out of nowhere. Huh? Sailors would guide entire journeys by it, but the joke was on them. There was no fire. There wasn't even a St. Elmo. They made it up. They made it up because they thought they needed it to keep them going when things got tough.
Welcome back, Corey.
Hell yeah.
How was your visit to St. Elmo's Fire? The bar, not the actual fire.
That bar seems like a cool place. I want to hang out at it.
Yeah,
Watch Billy beat up his wife's boyfriend.
I just want to watch Billy play that saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
I said saxophone. I think it's a saxophone.
It's like a saxophone.
Nice, sexier phone.
Yeah, but I wonder if we can't ask Joel Schumacher because he's dead. Rest in peace. But he's about that saxophone life, you know? Because there was the sexy sax man in Lost Boys too.
Yeah, because it went from this movie straight into the Lost Boys. I think they even came out the same year, just right after each other, didn't they?
Yeah, he's like, you know what would make this movie better, St. Elmo's Fire? What if it's just vampires on a beach? Keep the saxophones. They're like, this, you got a hit.
Yep, we'll throw a couple of Corys in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think actually the Lost Boys was just a big advertisement for St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
Because St. Elmo's Fire came out, and then he's like, this is going to be huge. And then when it starts to die down, we're going to throw in another movie at it. We're going to put the shout-outs in there to Rob Lowe because they put the Rob Lowe poster in there, right? We talked about that. And then they've got the sexy sax. And he's like, then everybody will think, oh, St. Elmo's Fire, we need to re-watch that. Boom, doubled his ratings.
Yep. And doubles his revenue.
Yeah.
Because they're watching it for hidden meetings and stuff.
Because you know what they did there? Mind scramble.
Oh, yes. Classic mind scramble.
So how's it going, Corey?
Good, yeah. Welcome back to That's Basically the 80s. We watched St. Elmo's Fire, as you know from the intro.
Hell yeah, and believe it or not, this was the first time I actually watched that movie.
Badass movie.
Yeah. I mean, it was no Howard Hughes movie, but it was definitely...
If Howard Hughes had wrote it with Joel Schumacher, it would have just been slightly better and nothing more. He would have just kind of put that little, when Salt Bae sprinkles that salt right on there, because that meat already looks good. He just gets sprinkled a little bit extra.
Yeah, I think actually what you're going for there is what's the name of those big fucking steaks with the big giant rib?
The tomahawk?
Yeah, I think that the movie is a tomahawk steak, and then it's perfect.
Right.
But then, like you said, Howard Hughes could have just came in and just sprinkled a little bit of salt on there. Maybe just threw in a couple of fucked up things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like somebody throwing some salami against a statue, or
yeah,
I don't know, like a rogue titty somewhere or something.
Just something weird.
Although I will, on that note, maybe he's just next level on me right now, because at the very beginning, they come strolling out of the school and they're like, oh, fuck, we graduated. Then it goes into the car crash and then they're in the hospital.
Right.
Right away, what do you have?
I didn't notice it, and we had to rewind it 3 times because you kept talking about it, but there was a naked man ass.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about Emilio Estevez wearing that sweet-ass bow tie.
Yep.
But yeah, right away there was this giant man just standing in the hallway naked in the hospital. I thought that was pretty clever. And they all just come strolling in, and everybody's just like, oh, fuck, naked fat man, let's just move on, that's normal. And then later Emilio's like,
she kind of looks over at him, did you see that fucking ass? And everyone's like, yeah, we did.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. So,
right.
It did throw in that. I think that's a little bit of a Howard Hughes thing. What other movies did Joel Schumacher make?
Lost Boys and this, and...
I think he made movies in the 90s like 8mm.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That was a fucked up movie too, with Nicolas Cage and Joaquin Phoenix and
that crazy one, huh?
Whatnot.
Okay, he did that, and then Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Oh yeah, those ones were out of those are shitty versions.
Yeah, those are the worst of them. But
I think Joel Schumacher was just like, fuck it, whatever, man. I just need a payday. So.
Oh, he did Phone Booth.
I liked Phone Booth.
Yeah.
I think Carrie hated that one just because, I don't know, you and I really like dialogue-driven movies a lot of the time, and that one's only dialogue-driven.
Who's that guy? That angry...
Colin Farrell?
Yeah.
But you know who the shooter was, the guy on the other side of the phone?
Uh-huh.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So he... I think it's awesome how a lot of these directors will go back and use the same
people often.
same-
Yeah.
Although Kiefer wasn't in St. Elmo's Fire,
No.
which is jacked up because I think he would have been great in it.
Yeah, he definitely could have been.
He could have just run around and said, Billy. Wait, wasn't there somebody named Billy in St. Elmo's Fire?
Yeah. Rob Lowe's character's name
Okay,
is
yeah.
Billy.
He could have just ran around because Rob Lowe kind of looked like Michael
Uh-huh.
from there. He could have just ran around and just said
Yeah.
his name 1,000 times.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But so, what made you pick this movie? Or before we get into that, do we need to do any thank yous or whatever? Probably should thank our Patrons again.
yeah, always thank our Patreons. Lots of fun stuff happening over there. What'd we just do? We made a really fun Patreon
Yeah, we
just
kind of
last week.
talked about taxes, but not taxes. We were kind of all over the place, but it was a good
It
time.
was just a nice conversation. It made me laugh though. I listened to it on the way home from recording it, and I was like, "Oh, this is one of the best ones we've done."
So if
we
you
did
haven't
that.
seen that, if you haven't checked out our Patreon, go to our website.
Hell yeah! And then, other than that, what else do we want to shout out? Oh, we hit 3,000 listens officially, so we can celebrate that together.
Yeah, we're going to celebrate, not tonight though, because unfortunately Chris has to work, so we're not drinking beer and we're not doing anything. Corey didn't even bring a beer to tease me.
Nope, nothing.
He was running late.
just showed up. So, but yeah, we'll throw a party for 3,000 listens next time we both have a day off.
Yeah, probably. Next time we both have a day off, we'll together.
Mm-hmm.
Will be
Not next weekend.
probably 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that is basically all the shout outs.
I have one more.
Okay.
Let's do a big shout out to us.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because we don't even have a day off together for 3 weeks, but we will still get our content out. We'll get our Patreon content
true.
out and we'll get our podcast content out.
Yeah.
And
We're in the trenches working hard for you.
yeah, thanks guys.
So, thanks for listening to it.
Yeah, thank you to us. So anyways, we'll jump into the movie. I took some notes here, like always.
Mhm.
And but you're going to have to lead this one because I've only seen this movie one time. Can you believe that?
It's one of those that you either like love it and watch it a bunch or didn't love it, I think.
I didn't love it. I really liked it. I think that there's good meaning there. It's a really deep movie, and I'm sure we could fuck it up a little bit.
Oh yeah, always. But yeah, so you kind of talked about the movie starts out with the car crash. So, all the friends graduate high school and then all of a sudden there's a car crash and Billy and I'm going to forget all their names, but the girl that he's kind of hanging out with, taking advantage of and everything, like spending all of her money and stuff, they get in a car accident and he's just out there drunk playing a saxophone,
Right.
and then
They're all
other-
worried.
Yeah, they're all worried, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just playing the saxophone and hitting on the EMTs and stuff." And they're like, "You're gonna go to jail," and he's like, "Well, that's okay." And so then you kind of realize, like, okay, it's sometime after high school or after college is what it is. It's not high school. They've graduated college and they are kind of moving into their own careers and stuff. But Billy's not doing anything. He just misses like that college life and everything.
Right. He just wants to live the fun life and
Mhm.
hang out with friends and party and
Right.
just be easy going,
Which,
And-
I mean, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
That's the fun life, but, you got to grow up.
And it turns out that he's the one that is married and has a child and everything right now. So he should be the one that's trying to do the most, but it's maybe it's just like too much to handle for him,
Mhm. Oh, yeah, for sure. And then, so, they go and check on everybody, make sure that they're both okay. And then he's getting arrested. And, what's Bender's name in real
Bender.
life?
Bender?
Yeah.
Oh, Judd Nelson?
Yeah, Judd Nelson. He's like trying to get him. He's like, "Hey, I work for some congressman. Can we just not arrest him?" And the cops are like, "Fuck no, bud."
He's like,
getting
who the hell's
arrested."
that congressman? I
Right.
didn't vote for him.
Congressman silly, more like. And then
And then Emilio, he goes over there and tries to lawyer him because he's going to law school, right? And he's like, look, you don't want to do this, this, this. And he's like, look, man,
right.
get the shit out of my way.
Oh, it's Mar. Mar is her name that Billy is hanging out with, and breaks her car and everything, and bunks her.
Yeah,
and
Mara is the
stuff.
actress.
Uh,
Her name is Wendy in
Yeah.
the movie, her character name.
Yeah, Wendy Beamish, yeah. So anyways, they're like, "Aren't you even worried about Wendy?" And he's like, "Oh, is she okay?" And then Emilio's like, "No, she probably finally maxed out her dad's credit card." And then they're like, "Ah." And then I think that's when the first time he does that, like, because he does that throughout the movie,
Right?
Yeah. So,
Didn't work.
we tried to use our soundboard, but nothing came up.
It's all good.
There it goes. You have to have the volume turned up to hear it. So yeah, then it kind of introduces all the other characters. So you got Jules, the girl that Billy's talking to with our quote in the beginning and everything, and she's just like a fucking party girl, like doing cocaine all night and like sleeping around with people and just partying,
Right.
and all that.
This is our first Demi Moore movie,
I know, it's crazy.
right?
We've been doing 80s movies for a year, and this is the first time we've jumped into a Demi Moore movie.
There's actually another Demi Moore movie that I want to do that I was looking into. I haven't seen. It's her first movie. It came out in 82. It's called Parasite.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Have you seen it? It's about
A
it's
Parasite.
like a horror movie. But
Some
I guess
sort of-
she does a really good job from the reviews and stuff I was looking at. I guess she kills it.
Damn, that's awesome.
So we
I'm
may have
excited
to
for
do that one
that.
soon.
Oh hell yeah! And then so you kind of meet Joel's character and everything, and then Ali Sheedy, her character, is dating Judd Nelson Alec
Right.
in the movie, and so they're like living together and everything, and he's trying to get her to marry him the whole time, but then the whole time he's like being a piece of shit and cheating on her and stuff.
Right.
too,
He
you
goes
know?
to buy her like a new teddy.
Right.
And then he's like, yeah, I was going to buy this. And then the girl selling it, she's like, slide in here. And
Let's try it on for me.
Yeah.
Or, but let me try it on for you. Let me model it for you. That's what he said.
right. And so they
Yeah.
go into the dressing room. And
Mhm.
speaking of dressing rooms, have you ever went into the dressing room and tried it on?
No, I haven't.
Oh, me either.
No, I don't even think I've ever tried.
It's so much work. It sounds like so much work to me.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like that's definitely something you try during college. I'm way too old for that now.
Right. I want to make here's a shout out for like Hims or Cialis or any of those like dick pill commercials. Like there should be a commercial where it's like this guy and he's running around with this girl and she's like, let's jump into this dressing room and have sex, and then he's like, all right, and they go running in there, and then like she runs out crying, he comes out all frustrated, and then the thing's like, does your dick not work when you try to go into a fucking dressing room? Well, try some Hims to go. And then he just like, it goes in his hand and puts it on, and then all of a sudden you see like the doors rattling, and then like a clerk's over there like measuring someone's pants, and he looks over like a Mentos commercial and just smiles and shakes his head. Wouldn't that be cool?
I like it.
Yeah. So, shout out to us for coming up with your next commercial, guys.
Yeah, I think this is like our third or fourth ED commercial we've come up with for these guys, isn't it?
Yeah, we do a lot of these things for free, and I don't mind throwing ideas out, but
I think they should put one that you can just like dissolve in your coffee, because I feel like I've never tried them, never needed to, but I feel like a pill could take too long because it has to go into your body and then break down and then get in there. Why don't they make one that's like a powder or a liquid that you can just pour in your coffee or something?
a powder you just snort. Okay, make that already.
Oh, what are you snorting? Oh, this is Hims.
Yeah.
It goes up your nose. Oh, that's not what it is, but I don't know. Like, because then you just get your cup of coffee and you're enjoying that, and then I feel like it should just absorb way quicker. And then all of a sudden you're like, you can walk through that dressing room door like a man.
Slap down the pants. They were too small. He's like, I can tell.
You got anything bigger in the front? Yeah, we got some sweatpants.
So yeah, that was dressing rooms for some reason. But
But
so
still-
yeah, they I think like they introduced pretty quickly all these guys who are out of college. It seems like some of them have got their lives put together more than others, but really all of them have got like some shit that
Yeah.
they're needing to work
That's
on.
what this story is about, man. It's just a story about everybody's life being hard.
Mhm.
And no matter what, if you are on track and you're working for a congressman, or if you're helping out at like a unemployment center, or if you're partying and doing cocaine all the time and sleeping with your boss, or if you're going slinging drinks at the St. Elmo's fire and then studying to be law,
Mhm.
all of them ended up having not a shitty life, but they all have their challenges.
Yep.
And as all good friends do, they fight and they build each other back up. Then they help each other.
Right.
Then in the middle of helping each other, they're like, oh man, here, have 2 more shots of tequila and break them down a little bit more,
Just constant like build up and breakdown.
So it is a super deep story.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of brings it all together at the end. But
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of wild stuff happens in between, but there's just like all these different story arcs of Kevin, the whole time they're like, hey, Jules is trying to hook Kevin up with
The neighbor.
her neighbor. She's like, he's gay, are you sure you're not gay? And he's like, I'm not. And then Kevin, he goes and talks with the prostitute, and he that was my favorite part. The first time he talked to her, he's like, hey, why don't you ever offer me the $5 special? And she's like, because I thought you liked dick, baby. And he's like, fuck. And he's like, well, I don't. And she's like, prove it. And he's like, I'm late for work. And goes running off, And so I just really liked it. And then he like kept coming back and talking to her. He talked to her like 3 times in the movie. I thought that was really cool. And then she's like, I'm going to give you the Cincinnati special. He's like, shit, do you take Venmo? That's actually how Venmo was probably invented,
Right.
Some guy was walking down the street or, girl or whatever. And he's like, hold up. I need the internet.
Right.
There's
I can't.
no ATM
I don't have
anyway.
any cash right now. Do you take credit cards? She's like, where am I going to swipe?
Right. And it's actually probably not even that far off the mark, because I think like it was like the very first things that currency was probably ever used for was like sex. So I think
Sex or food.
Because I think if you teach like primates and stuff how to use money, then they'll like exchange it for sex with each other.
For
like
sure.
There's been some studies that show that. So, we're basically just spouting history here.
Yeah. I mean, if you need to get laid and you can't.
Mm-hmm. Just grab a 20 off the dresser.
Yeah. And
Take it off one dresser, leave it on the other. That's the circle of life.
it's not illegal if you don't pay for it. Oh, what's this $20 for? Well, you gave me a beer. I'm going to pay for my beer.
Right.
Just try it or don't.
So that's Kevin. Yep. So we introduce, Kevin's character. He's secretly in love with Ali Sheedy, which, I mean, every sane person in the world should be in love with Ali Sheedy because she was so cool. She's still cool. Super cool in the 80s, though. I thought she was like,
Yeah, for
just
sure.
the
This
coolest.
is our third Ali Sheedy movie.
Mhm.
We did Breakfast Club, then we did Short Circuit, and now we're doing St. Elmo's Fire.
Mhm.
How many Emilio movies have we done now? Is this only our second?
No, it's our third.
Our third. Oh, yeah, because we did Young Guns, Breakfast Club,
Breakfast Club
and
in
this one.
Mhm. Yeah. So Emilio and Ali together, they're, definitely outpacing everybody else for sure for movies. Because we haven't had any other actor or actresses that have been in more than those two, I don't think.
Nope, because we've only done some of the big ones. Tom Cruise, Rob Lowe, because they were in, this is our fourth Emilio movie because of Outsiders.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Damn, Emilio.
Emilio.
God,
I do
we got
like
to get
him.
him.
I
We
do.
got to get him on the show.
Yeah. He's got a new fucking series coming out.
Is it called Emilio?
Yeah, it's called Emilio and the Mighty Ducks series.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Of course, he's going to move on to own an ice skating rink and hate hockey and hate all of that because his character in the Mighty Ducks was like, man, fuck hockey. I'm super badass at it, but I'm going to go play lawyer instead.
Right.
Then he likes hockey again. Then he hates hockey again. Then he likes hockey again.
It's just like new Karate Kid series that's a few years old and not new.
Yeah.
I hope it's as good as what I've seen of that.
Yeah. I think it'll be all right. I don't think that Emilio's ever done anything that I've hated.
Mm-hmm. No.
I guess we'll see. Well, has he done anything in the last few years?
Probably.
Probably.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. We only do 80s movies, so fuck off 2000s movies.
2010s movies.
2020s.
Jesus. So, yeah.
Oh, speaking of Jesus, happy Easter, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It is Easter.
Shout out to Judas for the long weekend.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Holiday pay, baby.
I didn't get a long weekend or holiday pay, actually.
I didn't get a long weekend because I'm getting forced to work tonight, but
you did get paid for the holiday.
I got 8 hours, yeah.
That's nice. So yeah, what do we got from there?
We're just talking shit about just
I was just kind of giving a quick synopsis of everybody's character.
of all the bullshit they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So
like Wendy, her big thing is that her dad just wants her to get married to some schlub that owns a fucking greeting card company.
right,
And she's like, I don't want to do that. Like,
she
Billy.
works with like on
she
unemployment
works
stuff,
in-
and
Department of Human Services and helps like low income families and stuff like that, and volunteers at soup kitchens and stuff. Yeah. So she's like probably one of the people that's got like her life the most put together, but then at the same time, she just lets Billy take advantage of her constantly.
right, because there's just a lot of pressure,
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher Lloyd. We've done 3 Christopher Lloyd movies, just in case you were wondering. So,
That's crazy that we have.
so he's a hard hitter too. He's not an Emilio status, but
Mhm.
he's definitely up there.
Right.
I don't know why that just popped in my head, but
So yeah, well, who's your favorite character from the movie? That would be a good place to go from there, I think.
I think my favorite character from the movie is got to be Emilio.
Yeah.
What's his character's name? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Hang on, it's like Hans Gruber or something. Just kidding. Hans is from.
It's Kirby. You were close though. It's Kirby Kicker.
I just like him because he's just. Oh fuck! Who's that hot girl at the hospital? He's like, shit. I dated her one time. We went on one date, and then all of a sudden he's madly in love.
And then he's not even afraid either. He's like, I'm fucking obsessed with you.
Yeah, and so he calls her and goes to her work, and then follows her in the rain, and
quits lawyer school to become a doctor for her.
Right, and goes get a fake job at some random
billionaire guy's house,
and then invites her, and then he's like, "Fuck, where is she?"
And then
he goes cruising to the ski resort.
He steals Wendy's car.
Oh yeah, he steals a car,
and then drives up to the ski resort and goes pound on the door. He's like, "I'm not gonna be responsible for what I do. What the fuck?" She's like, I love how the whole time because like it could be where she's like, "God, this guy's fucking crazy," and I fear for my life, and that would be justifiable because he was acting like crazy. But instead, she was just like, "Man, he's like so sweet.
He's so funny, you know." And then at the end, because they save him from the car. I mean, we're jumping all over. We always assume you guys have seen these movies,
right?
So they have to go save him. He's like, "I'll just fucking freeze out here."
Yeah, he's like sitting in the car pouting. Come on inside.
And
he's
the other guy was cool too, you know. He's
her
like,
boyfriend,
man, this guy's so funny.
Yeah. He's like, man, and this guy came all the way up here. I wonder what she told him. Andy McDowell is the actress, but I wonder what she told him, like her boyfriend or husband or whatever. Like, it must be boyfriend because she wasn't wearing a ring or anything. I wonder if she's like, yeah, he just fucking loves me. So he just follows me around. And the guy's like, oh, that's so sweet.
Right.
You know?
He's because they leave him. Like he's all bundled up, warm it up, and then they go back to the room together. And then he's back there and he's like, look, baby, call me Kirby. Let's really fuck with this guy. Just say it kind of loud.
Say Curbs. So yeah, they bring him in, and then she kind of stays up talking with him. She's like, look, man, I'm seeing someone, so, you know, sorry.
Whatever. And then when he leaves, he does grab her and give her that kiss, and she's like, shit.
Yeah, because her boyfriend runs to grab a camera, and he just bends over and gives her that kiss. And then he like goes back up, and he's got this biggest fucking smile on his face. He's just loving life. And she's just like, shit. And the whole way he's driving home, he's like, fuck yes. We were both laughing so hard. We were like, yes, get it.
He probably speeds through a school zone and everything. He's so hyped up on that, you know. He stops at fucking the mini mart and gets a double size Slurpee or whatever, you know. He's just way jacked.
Right. I mean, I would be too. Andy McDowell's pretty.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't drive to a ski resort to kiss her in front of her boyfriend, but you know.
If I was bored, maybe. Probably not, though.
I think, Kirby's character arc was really, really awesome. I really did like Billy quite a bit, and Jules. I mean, I really like all of them for different reasons, for sure. All of them were going through some deep stuff. It's obviously Billy and Jules that are going through it the worst, because Billy's going through a divorce and having to figure out, like, I've got a child, but at the same time, like, it's with the wrong person and everything, and he ultimately ends up making the decision, like, I'm a piece of shit father and a piece of shit husband. I need to leave so my child and their mom can have a good life. And that's got to be, like, that'd be a tough decision to make.
I think so.
He, like, recognizes that he's a piece of shit and can't be around because it's just going to ruin his kids, so he just makes the decision to go. So that'd be tough. And then, you know, Jules, she just is, like, kind of just destroying her life. And then you kind of don't know why. Like, you can tell she's a party girl, but it's not until the end with the quote that we had about St. Elmo's fire and everything that she's just super upset because her dad has some sort of like bad relationship with her and won't talk with her or anything like that. And so like her mom must not be in the picture. It's just a stepmom.
She always calls her stepmomster.
Is mean to her. So then it seems like she's just like partying and sleeping around doing all this stuff for attention that she's not getting.
For sure.
You know? And so then it kind of comes out that she lost her job, lost all of her belongings and everything. Like the company came and took all their stuff away and all that. And so then she was just going to try to freeze herself to death.
That's what it sounded like, huh?
Sounds like something wild that you would do when you're just going through like a giant binge on drugs and deciding to, you know, you're at the end of your rope or something like that. But it's pretty crazy.
Although she probably would have froze to death faster if she would have taken more clothes off. Just saying.
Jesus. But probably my favorite stories were Judd Nelson, Kevin, and Ali Sheedy, like the three love triangle between them.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
the whole time, Kevin is trying to be really good friends with Judd Nelson. I'm using character and actor interchange because I don't remember Judd Nelson's name in the movie. But he's like best friends with him, and the whole time he like secretly loves his girlfriend. And he's like, hell yeah, you banging the waitress at the diner over there? Oh, cool. Like, you know, the whole time he's like proud and like awesome and chatting with his friend, but at the same time he's like, you piece of shit, you know, like I want to love her instead and all this stuff. And then he finally like gets a chance to, and then almost gets beaten up by, who is it?
Alec.
Yeah.
Let's pause there.
Okay.
We'll throw in a commercial.
Okay.
Then we'll come back because their story is, like you said, it's way complex, but it's really cool.
Mhm.
And I like how it turns out. So let's jump into that when we come back. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Dude, Chris,
What's up?
do you know what I fucking miss?
What's that?
Gold doubloons. You know why?
Why?
Because I fucking love them. Dude, do you know my favorite thing about gold doubloons? Collecting them. Because do you know what that means? You're fucking rich. Do you know how to get rich?
How?
Well, you make podcasts,
Like us?
right? Do you know how you get rich making podcasts?
Use.
You fucking download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And do you know what you do after that? You get that fucking gold doubloons.
Gold doubloons.
Gold doubloons. You gather them all together, and you know what you do? You fucking try to spend them, and then they're like, we don't accept gold doubloons here. And you're like, well, fucking I'll go to some place that exchanges them, and then I'll get some cash.
And then you get like
Some fucking
cash.
cash.
$400 a piece.
Yeah.
Nice.
That'd be cool. Like, I would like to exchange 2 gold doubloons, and they're like, well, that's $800 cash. And you're like, all right, give me them fucking Benjamins. How much is a Benjamin?
$100.
Yep. How much is a 50? Is that a Franklin?
That's a grant.
Oh, yeah. Put me on them grants, bitch.
Wait. Yeah. a
Yeah.
grant.
Who's Hamilton's a 20, right?
10.
Oh, fuck. Who's a 20?
Jackson.
I obviously don't know. You talk about a George Washington, and I know that's a $1 bill.
Do you want to shoot this whole thing over?
No.
Okay.
Anchor.fm.
All right, we're back. Thank you for taking the time to listen to that little commercial. So before we get back into the movie, if you've never listened to us before, we like to pause at the kind of halfway point, and then Chris, you generally bring up a 2000s movie or maybe a 90s movie, just off the cuff, something that I don't know that's coming, and then we just kind of go with it and talk about it. So do you want to throw that movie at us?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to throw a movie at you that I love. I've seen a bazillion times, and I think you love them too. But there's a couple different cuts of it. There's one, the theatrical version,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the director's cut or the extended edition.
Ooh,
And I prefer the extended edition,
always.
but this movie is, I think it takes you like 2.5 weeks to watch the entire movie.
Oh, yes, I know.
I'm not talking about the Return of the Jedi.
No.
I'm talking about the Return of the King.
There's only one return, and it's of the Jedi, not of the King.
Thank you, Kevin Smith.
Right? I mean, Randall wasn't wrong in his assessment. Even the trees walked in those fucking movies.
That's true.
So Return of the King specifically is
Yeah,
the one that
let's
you
go with
want.
that
Is
one.
that the last one?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, you can talk about all of them, the whole Lord of the Rings, because it's all one big movie and it just goes along.
Right, it just goes.
Just the Return of the King was one where they got all of the rewards, all of the awards and everything. you know.
Yeah. Maybe like the best part of the whole series is in Return of the King, because when fucking, what's his name? The king?
Aragon.
When he is in the grand court and everything, and then all of the hobbitses are bowing down, he's like, no, little ones, you bow to no one, and then everyone else bows down. That was just like tears,
Right.
because they fucking went through that shit for years and years. Because I think that doesn't like the whole like saga of them going to
Leaving the Shire and everything.
isn't it like many years?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
so
it
too.
feels like it's rushed, but that's with movies. It's hard to
Mhm.
tell, but I think that it's
Right.
quite a journey.
Because the timelines in those movies are all fucked up. Like from the time that Frodo like locks the ring away and then like brings it back out, I think it's like 40 years or something.
40,000 years. Let's look it up real quick.
because he's old. That's why Samwise Gamgee always calls him Sir. Does he call him Sir? Whatever title he gives him.
He gives him
Master.
calls him Master Frodo.
Master Frodo, yeah. Because Frodo is like 40 years older than him or something in the movies, in the books and everything. But yeah, he, like, that ring is locked away for like years and years and years before anything happens. So I think that what's his name was like, hey, I'm going to bounce out. Here's this fucking ring, hide it. And then 40 years later is when the events take place.
I don't know. I'm trying to look at the timeline, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
Somebody fact check us and give us some shit, you know?
It's something like that. It could be like 17 years.
It looks like the Fellowship leaves in 3018. The Fellowship breaks up in February. And I don't know. There's more. It's a couple of years at least, the whole journey. But anyways, you want to know what my favorite part of the movie is?
Yeah.
So check this out. You've got Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli all going to the Mountain of the Dead, right?
Right.
And they're like, shit, man, don't take that path. It's haunted. And then everybody's like, why is he leaving? Like, fuck, he's got to. So then they go down and they go to this cave. And first Gimli's scared to go in there. And then he's like, wait a minute, an elf will go into there, but a dwarf won't?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going through this cave. And then they get to the end, and then the army of the dead shows up, right?
Right.
Bunch of little green ghosts coming over, and they're like, fuck you, get out of here. We don't suffer you. He's like, the dead does not suffer the living. And then he goes to chop him up, and then Aragorn grabs his newly founded sword and stops it, and then grabs the dead guy by the throat, and he's like, you'll suffer me. Right?
Uh-huh.
And then he gives him his little spiel. He's like, look, bitch, I'll kill you again, and da-da-da, right? And then all of a sudden it shows him just hauling ass running.
Fuck, I messed
They're
up.
just running, and skulls are coming after him, and then they bust out of the mountain. They're like, shit. I just imagine Legolas looking at him like, Aragorn, why you got to talk so much shit all the time, you know?
It's 17 years. I was like, but it could have been like 17 years. It is. So from the time that he's given the ring, it's 17 years. That's when it comes about that people are looking for it. And that's when the events of the Lord of the Rings take place, when they need to leave the Shire and all that. So that's crazy because, it like reads, I've never read that fucking long ass series of books. I think your son has, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like it's like quick. Like he's like, here, if I can take this ring. Actually, no, if I can take it to a volcano. But it's like, no. It's like, oh, that dusty old fucking ring back there?
Right. With the movie, it looks like a timeline of where it would be maybe a year or something like that, but for sure. But like I said, it's different. Same with like the Harry Potter ones.
Right.
The timelines always seem so different, or even the Star Wars movies and stuff. All these long epic movies are always like that. But
I guess that's the power of cinema.
Yep.
Yeah, even the fucking trees walked in those movies. So do you know what that is?
That's definitely the 2000s.
You got it.
All right, so we're going to get back, and we've already done our shout-outs. We've told you to go look at our website and our Patreon and everything, and follow and tell your friends about us, and yeah. So we were going to get into the little love triangle relationship a little bit between Alec and Kevin and Ali Sheedy's character that I don't know the name off the top of my head. Because you were talking about how just like complex they are.
Right.
And
yeah, it's Leslie. Yeah, so super complex because the whole time Alec is like, marry me. And she's like, no. And then he's like, well, in his mind, he's like, fuck it then. I'm just going to keep cheating on her until she wants to marry me. Like, that's such a fucked up, like,
right. He even says that to Kevin. He's like, yeah, when she says yes, I'll say no.
Right.
It's like, dude,
he's like,
no, that's not how it works
at all. And Wendy, the whole time, she's like, well, or Leslie, the whole time she's like, I want to do it for me, like I'm not just going to marry you unless it's,
I want to make sure.
Yeah. And everything. And Alec never says anything. Kevin never says anything. He's like just kind of neutral on it and everything. And then, they're at that party. So this is kind of where it ties all together because, Billy the Kid gets all love struck and rents that hotel or that, he pretends to get his job, right? And then because he wants to invite Annie McDowell. So at that party, oh, wait, it's not that party. Never mind.
Yeah, it is. It's that party.
Okay.
This is where it's all coming into a head.
He's like, Alex like, yeah, Leslie's going to marry me. And then everyone all cheers and everything. And she's like, fuck you. I didn't say I was going to. And he's like, come on, I'm just speeding up the timeline. And then she's like, what about all your other relationships? And then he's just like, motherfucker. And then he immediately is like, oh, my friend told her.
Oh, what did Kevin say?
Yeah, what did Kevin say? And she's like, he didn't say anything. But no, first he gets all mad. He runs over and he's like, Kevin. And he like pushes him. He's like, what'd you fucking tell her? And then he's looking at her like, I didn't. She's senior dick. I'm sorry.
I told her it was huge.
Right?
And then he's like, well, how'd you know? And she says, well, I had suspicions, but I didn't know until
Right,
now.
until now. Yeah.
And then he tries to turn it all around on her too,
Mhm.
you know.
He's like, if you just marry me, I wouldn't cheat. You know, he's being a piece of shit and all that. So anyways, she leaves with Kevin. And then she's like, can I go back to your place? And he's like, yeah. And so they go there. And then he's like, we're going to get drunk. You know, this is my shot. He's like, shooting his shot now. He's been waiting.
He's like clearing off the Star Wars comics and he's throwing away the old, like trying to hide the old Polaroids that he took of her. And he's got a little fucking hair doll made out of her, you know?
Right. But he's like, yeah, this is
the bed.
This is the bed. This is like where we do bed stuff. And this is like a coffin. And she's like, you got a coffin up here? He's like, yeah, because I thought that like girls would like it. You know, she's like, do you bring a ton of girls up here? And he's like, no, you're the first one. And all that.
That's
and
actually where Kiefer Sutherland's character was at. Was
inside that coffin. Maybe that was a shot. Like Joel Schumacher had the coffin from Lost Boys, or he's like, what are we gonna do with this coffin? He's like, I already got it handled. Give me that fucking saxophone. He just walks off with the fucking coffin and a saxophone.
I'm gonna make 2 movies
into the sunset. And they're like, God, that guy is cool.
He's just walking towards a beach party with a barrel of fires.
You could just hear that fucking saxophone guy in the background and shit. God, that should be our next shirt. I need like a silhouette of Joel Schumacher walking with a coffin and a saxophone into the sunset, and it says that's basically the 80s.
There you go. Like I said, with a little barrel fire out there.
Yeah,
and stuff.
You just kind of see the smoke coming off the fire. God, that's awesome.
We
got to make that. So, anyways, they get drunk, and she's like, I can't believe he's cheating on me. And he's like, yeah. Anyways, do you need some more drink? You know, and then he whips out that fucking them hymns from earlier. He's like, we're prepared. But then
she's like, are you drinking coffee?
Right.
Yes.
He's like, sure. But he's like, well, I love you and I've been in love with you forever. And he's like, never mind, I'm going to stop talking because soon it's going to be tomorrow and you won't remember it. And then she looks at him and she's like, it's already tomorrow. And then he's like, oh, fuck. And so she like throws him on the coffin.
Forgot you.
Right. She throws him right on the coffin. And then all of a sudden like sees all these Polaroids and everything all over. And then they're just like, boom, it's time to go.
And they do it.
They do like in the shower, on the coffin.
Everywhere but the bed.
Next to the futon, the fondue pot, and all that. And then all of a sudden, Alec comes walking in the next morning, and they're laying in bed, and he's all drunk, and he's like, hey, man, did you tell her? And he's like, I didn't tell her. He's like, I believe you, man.
He's like, you got to get out of here. I got some company. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink.
Right. And he's like, oh, dude.
Oh, she got them nice titties.
Yeah. He's like, and they're sitting there trying to have a heart-to-heart. He's like, man, I love her and everything. And he's like, well, I don't know how to help you, bud. I was loving her too. So you
gotta get the fuck out.
So then he's like, I got some company. He's like, oh, who is it? And he's like, I ain't gonna tell you. And then she just comes walking out and she's like, it's me, bitch. And then he's like, and then he's like ready to fight again. She's like, get out of here.
He's got 2 thoughts in his mind real quick. He's like, wait, 3-way? Nope, I'm pissed.
Because you could go 2-way, it's a 2-way street. That's like that R.L. Stine Choose Your Adventure book from last week.
Hell yeah.
He did not go to page 69.
No, he didn't. He went to page Angry 9.
Yeah. So anyways, she's like, get out of here. And then some time goes by. She moves out and everything. And Kevin and Kirby go walking by St. Elmo's Fire, the bar. And the bar's called St. Elmo. St. Elmo's. It's not called St. Elmo's Fire, but whatever.
It's just called St. Elmo's.
Called St. Elmo's Bar. But they look in and see Alec and some other people, and he's like, it's just really weird. I thought we were going to be friends forever and all that, because now their friendship's gone because they were, he's got with Leslie and everything and all that, which, that does ruin friendships quickly, so you can understand why. But then at that point, that's kind of where like a whole bunch of different stuff happens, Jules goes home with Billy at some point, and Jules, this is when she's like on her edge of her mental collapse and everything, and she really needs to talk to Billy.
Right, she just wants a friend is what she's saying.
Right, and then Billy's all drunk and trying to sleep with her in the car, and then she's like, no, like I really need you tonight, and she pushes him out of the car.
After he puts her keys down his pants.
He's like, yeah, you better come get him.
And this was not too long after Billy promised the other girl
Right.
that
His
he was done
wife.
drinking. And
He's done drinking, done whoring around and all that stuff. And it turns out it was in his driveway because his wife is sitting there with the kid just watching him like,
Right.
fucking piece of shit, you know? So that kind of comes to a head there. And right before that was when his wife had brought in like a new boyfriend and stuff, and he got fired from St. Elmo's. He can't play in the band anymore and all that stuff. So his life's falling apart. And then Billy goes back and tries to go back to college. And he's like, well, the only place I ever fit in was in college. Maybe I'll go there. And then all of his friends are like, oh, dude, it's Billy. And, you know, he's trying. He's like, well, I was thinking I could come back here,
Get a
you
job
know, get
and
a job.
stuff.
And they're like, yeah, man, we need someone that can get us some good drugs. And so then he's like,
he's like, that's all I am.
He's like, this is all I am. You know, his life is just a mess. So he is going through it. And then all of a sudden, that's when Jules has her mental breakdown, which kind of brings us to the end of the movie.
Right. And they all kind of have to come back together because they all end up back there. And then she's in the room.
Just freezing her shit off. Yeah.
Right. And they're like, oh, fuck the fire escape. And I love it because they go up the fire escape.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, oh, I'm going to just throw your ass over.
Right. Yeah, because they're all together. What's he doing here? What's he doing here? Like, fucking shut up. We got to save Jules. And then, yeah, they get Alec and Kevin both out on the fire escape. And he's like, motherfucker. And he holds him over the edge. And he's like, I'm going to drop you right now. And he just looks at him and he's like, I love her, man. And then
they have to go find, was it...
well, Billy was working down at a gas station, and they needed to go get him because he had a blowtorch at the gas station he was working at.
Right.
And that's how they were going to get into it because the windows were barred shut.
Right. Well, and then they haul the blowtorch up there, and they're trying to cut it. Then Billy goes to the other side,
Right.
and he's like, oh, fuck it, I'll just break it down with this fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
You know, and so he gets in there and breaks the door down. Instead of just doing that originally, they
I know.
have to come.
They have this whole thing. But you, like, run there to save Jules, and then, like, you look back, and Leslie's like, fuck. We're trying to save Jules, but now Alex holding Kevin over the fire escape. He's going to kill him, you know? And they're all just like ready to like go at each other's throat and everything.
And they're like, here, use the blowtorch. Not you.
Right. Yeah. You'll blowtorch his ass. But I mean, they break in and save her, obviously.
And that's when Billy has the
Billy gets
heart-to-heart
in
with
there.
her.
And that's like the one person that needed to have a heart-to-heart with her because he's the one whose life is falling apart the most.
Right.
As
And
well.
that's what she was trying earlier. And now he kind of made up for it. He's like, look, it's all
Right.
fucking shit, you know? But
You should have been like, anyways, you want to grab them keys now? Or,
but he's
but
like, I'll bet you in 10 years, you'll be a stripper trying to pay child support.
is that what striptease is about?
I think so. I know it's a lady that's like going to court, whatever, trying to fight for custody for her kids or something. I don't remember. Fuck, man, I watched it a long time ago. It's not a movie. You just, oh, yeah, I'm going to watch striptease today.
Yeah, the only time you watch this is when it's on Saturday night at like 11 at night and you're 13 on USA.
Yeah, nowadays people aren't like, oh, man, I need to see Demi Moore's titties. I'll just watch striptease.
Yeah. That's like cut to me in like 1993. And my parents are like, Corey, why are you writing a letter to the U.S. senators asking for the removal of commercials on USA? No reason, Mom. I'm getting into politics.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck commercials.
Fuck commercials and censorship, all right?
That's funny shit. But yeah, they kind of go through that. And I really like the quote, the whole like St. Elmo's fire. It's our time on the edge and everything. And they're like, he's like, we're all just fucking doing our best and ruining our lives and figuring them out and all this shit. You know, we got to just keep on keeping on, man.
That's right.
He was like the 80s version of Matthew McConaughey. You just got to keep on keeping on.
Probably.
But, you know, it ends up having like a happy ending and everything. But we didn't really talk much about, what's her name? Wendy. And I wanted to just kind of shout her out because Billy takes advantage of Wendy the whole time. And he's always spending her money. Like he only hangs out with her when he can't pay his bills.
Right.
You know?
And she tries.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad tries to hook her up with somebody else it seems like probably a decent guy, you
Right.
know.
I
But
called him a schlub earlier.
schlub.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds cool.
But she does put up with his shit and everything. And then at the end, she's like, well, fuck, I mean, I do love him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and love is a weird thing.
Yeah. But because he tries to sleep with her at her house after he's like up on the roof and everything.
Right.
And her family's so weird. They're like, oh my God, is he up on the roof? He must be on those drugs and stuff. But he tries to sleep with her and then he's like, what the fuck are you wearing under here? Like, weird ass granny panties and shit.
Right.
And then she gets all
Because
pissed.
she's worried about her thigh
Mhm.
being all fat and stuff.
And then so she's like, here's your fucking money, and then leaves. And then that was cool because he like left it there. He didn't take her money. And then he
Right.
started paying her back and everything. And he's like, I'm really trying. I'm sorry that I ruined our relationship and stuff. But then that's how it happened at the end. It's his conversation with her. And he's like, I'm going to go to New York and try to start my life over there and go play in a band. Because she's like, you're good at the saxophone. Like, you got to go play that shit. And he's like, all right. And then it's kind of sweet because she never lost her virginity or anything or never wanted to. And he's like, have I abused our relationship that much? Or, do you want to
Right.
have a good time? And then she's like, yes, and so it's kind of,
So then they knock one out too.
yeah, just
They borrow the coffin.
just bang one out on it.
They
But
go inside of it actually.
which I thought was pretty sweet, like they had a really good relationship. And
For
I
sure.
think that he like loves her too. He just has to figure himself out and everything. And she finally stands up to her dad. She's like, I'm going to get my own place and I'm going to fucking do the job I want. So, at the end of the day, they all kind of find where they're going, no matter how deep they were in it,
Right, for sure.
which was pretty cool.
So
So what do you think? I liked the movie a lot.
I liked it. Like I said, it's not my favorite one, but there is a lot of deeper meanings to it. And
Mhm.
we made some good jokes and
Oh, hell yeah.
had a good time watching it.
Me too.
So yeah, like I said, just a quick reminder, everybody, give us some comments, send us some emails, share, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Go to our website, www.that'sbasicallythe80s.com, 80s. Click on that Patreon, because right now our next movie is actually going to be a Patreon pick. We put out a vote. We were trying to go between another Tom Cruise movie and a Jennifer Connelly movie. Corey, guess which one won?
Tom Cruise.
I was rooting for it, but no. The majority of the votes actually ended up being The Labyrinth. So, should we watch that
the
one
movie starring David Bowie's dick?
next? That's right.
We actually put up a teaser promo for the Labyrinth. I took a picture with my family a couple days ago
Yeah.
at the restaurant.
Maybe we'll throw that bad boy up there
Yeah.
side by side, see how they
The
compare.
comparison. Fuck.
Anyways, you know what that is?
That's basically the 80s.